The whole country froze when Kelly Khumalo's name exploded across every screen. Not for her music, but for a confession that no one saw coming. In a fiery interview, she didn't just defend herself over the Senzo Meyiwa case. She dropped bombshells about powerful ministers she claims she's been involved with. The energy shifted instantly. You could feel the shock ripple through South Africa like a live wire. Suddenly, the question everyone's asking isn't about guilt or innocence. It's how deep does this scandal really go? Who is Kelly Khumalo and what's her history? Kelly Khumalo isn't just another celebrity in South Africa. She's one of the most talked about and polarizing figures the country has ever seen. Born in the East Rand and raised in KwaZulu-Natal, Kelly built her name through her powerful voice and fearless personality. She's a multi-award-winning Afro-pop singer who's given the country hits like Mpini and Asine, songs that mix pain, love, and strength in ways only she can. But with her fame came storms that never really stopped. Every headline about her seems to balance between admiration and controversy, making her life feel more like a movie than reality.
When former Bafana goalkeeper Senzo Meyiwa was and killed in 2014 in what the state has alleged was a botched house robbery. Defense lawyers in the case have raised allegations of her.
The turning point in Kelly's story came in 2014, the night former Bafana goalkeeper Senzo Meyiwa was shot dead in her mother's house. Kelly was there, in the middle of what police initially called a house robbery gone wrong. But as time passed, that story started to unravel. The case turned into one of the biggest murder mysteries in South African history, and Kelly's name was dragged into it over and over again. The defense lawyers in the trial claimed they have a witness who saw her pull the trigger by mistake, while she maintained she did everything she could to save Senzo's life. That single night changed everything for her. Her career, her public image, even her sense of safety.
Said multiple times, but I think for me, hearing it from her, coming from her for the first time.
Since then, Kelly's life has been lived under a microscope. Every word she says, every move she makes, becomes a trending topic. Some see her as a survivor, a woman unfairly blamed and hunted by the media. Others see her as a mystery that the courts still need to unravel. She's opened up about receiving threats, fearing for her family, and feeling abandoned by the justice system she once trusted. Through it all, she's refused to disappear, insisting she wants her day in court and a chance to tell her truth. Love her or hate her, Kelly Khumalo has become the face of both fame and controversy in South Africa, a woman whose story refuses to fade away. The big reveal: ministers she claims she slept with.
As much as I loved Senzo, that relationship was a waste of my time and energy.
People then said, but this guy has a wife.
She was trying to push me off the road while I was driving.
When Kelly Khumalo agreed to that exclusive interview, she arrived cool, composed. No trembling voice, no panic. She simply dropped what would become one of the most explosive confessions in recent South African celebrity history. In calm, even tones, she named several government ministers she claims she had intimate relationships with. On YouTube, the footage shows her recounting names, or at least strong hints, with a confidence that left many viewers reeling. On Facebook pages buzzing with viral posts, her revelations have been headlined almost as fact. Kelly Khumalo drops names of ministers she slept with in 2025, and Kelly Khumalo just shattered South Africa with a shocking confession, an explosive list of powerful people she allegedly slept with. Some posts claim she even mocked the performance of the ministers, saying they were weak in bed. That said, even in her confident tone, there's a tension. The names she mentions are murky, not fully confirmed by independent sources, and no hard proof, texts, witnesses, or court filings, has publicly emerged so far. Critics argue there may be exaggeration or unverified claims in what she's saying. The ministers allegedly named have, for the most part, not publicly verified or denied the claims in full, which only deepens the mystery. Public reaction erupted instantly. Shock, outrage. People endorsed her bravery. Others dismissed it as attention-seeking or even slander. Social media exploded with debates. Is she telling the truth? Is this tactic to shift focus from her legal battles? Does she have evidence, or is this just sensationalism? Some saw it as an act of courage, telling names no one dares say. Others saw it as dangerous. Name someone, risk being sued. The echo from her reveal continues to bounce around South Africa. Moral debates, legal risk, gender politics, power and secrecy. Her revelation didn't simply make headlines. It cracked open a pressure point in public discourse about fame, power, and secrecy. And now, what nobody knows is whether these claims will be tested in court or whether they'll fade like whispers in a storm. Why did she do it? What's her motivation? When Kelly Khumalo sat in that chair for her interview, it didn't feel like a woman cornered. It felt like a woman reclaiming her story. For years, people have spoken about her, written headlines about her, and accused her of things she's never been convicted of. This time, she wasn't going to let anyone else control the narrative. You could see it in her body language, calm, confident, and deliberate. Every word she spoke seemed to say, "I'm tired of being the villain in everyone else's story." That's why many believe this shocking confession wasn't just about scandal. It was about taking back power. Owning her story has always been part of Kelly's survival strategy. She's been dragged through tabloids, accused of blamed for careers ending, and mocked for her relationships. After a decade of being a walking headline, she knows how to use attention to her advantage. By naming ministers and confronting rumors head-on, she flips the script, turning gossip into her own form of control. Some people see it as a desperate move. Others see it as genius. But one thing's for sure, she knows exactly how to get South Africa talking, and she's not afraid to stir the pot if it means being heard on her own terms.
Someone agreed to an interview. Now, we know that she's launching the 3rd season of her reality show.
Yes.
But she knew that you as a news journalist were going to ask all those difficult questions around the court case.
There's also timing to consider. The reveal came right as she launched a new season of her reality show, Life with Kelly Khumalo. That's no coincidence. She understands how the media cycle works, how one viral headline can boost viewership overnight. It's the oldest celebrity play in the book. Take the noise, turn it into numbers. But beyond publicity, there's something more human here. Kelly's life has been defined by people silencing her. The courts, the press, even public opinion. She's clearly done waiting. Still, she's walking a tightrope. Legal restrictions stop her from saying too much about the Senzo Meyiwa case, and her lawyer has often stepped in mid-interview. So instead, she uses implication and timing to speak louder than words. Whatever her motive, revenge, promotion, or liberation, one thing's clear. Kelly Khumalo has made sure South Africa is finally listening again. The murder case and the justice system.
When former Bafana goalkeeper Senzo Meyiwa was and in 2014 in what the state has alleged was a botched house robbery.
The story of Kelly Khumalo and the murder of Senzo Meyiwa is one of South Africa's most haunting legal sagas, a mix of tragedy, mystery, and endless courtroom drama. In October 2014, Senzo, the beloved Bafana goalkeeper, was and at Kelly's mother's home in Vosloorus. The state called it a botched house robbery. Kelly was inside the house that night, along with a few others, and from that moment, her life was never the same again. What should have been a straightforward case quickly turned into a tangle of accusations, missing evidence, and conflicting stories that dragged on for nearly a decade.
He has an eyewitness who's going to testify that Kelly Khumalo Senzo Meyiwa by mistake using a revolver. Now, this will totally unravel.
Over the years, 2 separate dockets have emerged, something legal experts call almost unheard of in a case like this. The first docket is the official one, the version we hear in court. The second docket, however, paints a completely different picture, one that actually implicates Kelly and others who were in the house. According to defense lawyers, there's even an eyewitness who claims Kelly accidentally Senzo with a revolver. If that's true, it would shatter the state's case entirely. But Kelly has always denied it. She insists she tried to save Senzo's life that night, not end it, and says she's been waiting years for the chance to clear her name in front of a judge. Her frustration with the justice system runs deep. She said many times that the courts move too slowly, that evidence has been mishandled, and that police tampered with the crime scene before proper investigations began. For her, this isn't just about fame or reputation anymore. It's about a broken system that she believes has failed her, just like it's failed many South Africans. The risks, fallout, and public backlash. The moment Kelly Khumalo opened her mouth and dropped those shocking revelations, she knew there would be consequences. You can't accuse powerful ministers of sleeping with you and expect silence to follow. Almost instantly, her confession became the talk of the nation, not just because of the names she mentioned, but because of what it meant for her future. Her reputation, already hanging by a thread after years of controversy, was thrown into even deeper chaos. People started questioning everything. Was she telling the truth, or was this another publicity stunt? For someone who spent years trying to rebuild her image, this move could either be the boldest act of truth-telling or the biggest gamble of her career.
I have my family threatened, not once but multiple times, and I feel like the law is not coming into place to protect and make me feel that, you know what, it is within my right to have protection, not only for myself but also for my family.
Then comes the legal danger. In South Africa, defamation isn't taken lightly, especially when it involves high-ranking political figures. If any of the ministers she named decide to fight back, she could face lawsuits that drag her back into court for entirely new reasons. Even worse, if prosecutors find inconsistencies in her claims, she could be accused of perjury or obstruction. It's a dangerous line to walk. Revealing too much without evidence could land her in serious legal trouble, while saying nothing keeps her trapped in speculation. Either way, she's playing with fire in a system that already seems stacked against her. But beyond the legal and social chaos, there's a darker side to all this: her safety. Kelly has spoken openly about being threatened before, and this new revelation only puts her under more risk. If she truly named ministers, she's touched some of the most protected and powerful people in the country. For someone who's already said she fears for her life, this could make things worse. Politically, the fallout could get ugly fast. Denials, public statements, even smear campaigns to discredit her. And, as usual, the country is split right down the middle. Some see her as brave, finally exposing hypocrisy. Others think she's reckless, trying to stay relevant. Either way, Kelly Khumalo has once again placed herself at the center of South Africa's most explosive conversation, and this time, the stakes couldn't be higher. What this means for South Africa. Kelly Khumalo's revelations have done more than just set social media on fire. They've opened up a much deeper conversation about who really holds power in South Africa and how that power is used behind closed doors. When a celebrity starts naming government ministers in a scandal like this, it blurs the line between entertainment and politics. Suddenly, it's not just gossip anymore. It's about influence, corruption, and the complicated ways fame and authority intertwine. The fact that a singer can shake the political sphere with a few bold claims shows how fragile and connected those two worlds have become. It makes you wonder how many other stories have been buried simply because the people involved were too powerful to be exposed. At the heart of this chaos lies an even bigger issue: the country's faith in its justice system. Kelly's frustration speaks for millions who feel like justice in South Africa moves only for the rich or the connected. Her constant reminders about evidence mishandling, delays, and lack of protection for witnesses hit a nerve with ordinary citizens who've seen similar failures in their own communities. When a high-profile figure like Kelly says she's scared for her life and that the law isn't protecting her, it sends a chilling message about how weak the system can be. If someone as famous as her feels unsafe, what about everyone else? Then there's the question of public trust and how we consume scandal. South Africans are hungry for truth, but also addicted to spectacle. Stories like this keep people glued to their screens, but they also blur the difference between fact and entertainment. Media outlets jump on every shocking headline, sometimes forgetting that behind all the chaos are real people, real cases, and real pain. This story isn't just about one woman's confession. It's about the cracks in our country's moral foundation. It exposes how power, secrecy, and fame collide in a system that still struggles to separate truth from drama. And that's what makes this scandal bigger than just Kelly Khumalo. It's a mirror reflecting who we are as a society. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.